Good afternoon, everyone. In the early summers of 2005, Dr. Michael Burry took a bet against the US housing markets. Around the same time, two investors, Charlie Geller and Jamie Shimply, made similar bets. In the late 1990s, a hedge fund by the name Long Term Capital Management made some serious bets on the Asian markets and the Russian ruble. Both these bets went bust and the hedge fund lost its way, triggering one of the biggest crises at Wall Street during those times. The question that comes to my mind much before understanding their trades is how, in the first place, could people bet on things that weren't remotely related to average Joe markets? The answer, of course, as most of you know, is derivatives market. Derivatives gives us the ability to trade both directions in a market, the ability to trade the probability of any random event and to bet heavily without putting too much capital yourself. One of such derivatives are option mark contracts. But what exactly are options? How do you trade them? These are the few questions that we would try to answer today. I welcome you all to a brand new episode of Decoding Markets. This webinar is brought to you by Tradia, a collaboration of traders and investors who help each other understand financial markets, in association with Pixu AI, a social networking platform that helps you take smarter financial decisions. For your reference, we are providing you the link to Pixu AI. For anyone who wishes to join the WhatsApp group of Tradia, you can reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook or via SMS. The contact details are provided on all the social media websites. Today's topic is an introduction to options trading. The speaker is Mr. Vaibhav Jain, who is a CFA charter holder and has completed his MBA from IIM Indore with a total work experience of 8+ years. He has worked with Deutsche Bank Investment Banking Division and currently working as a private wealth manager with Edelweiss, where he manages portfolios of high net worth individuals across various asset classes. He has been investing in stock markets since 2009 and in options segment since 2013. He is also a guest speaker at various B schools, IIMs, IIFTs, Symbiosis, TAPME, amongst few, IITs and corporates, mostly on topics like personal finance, stock markets, options trading, etc. He also does podcast interviews occasionally. He posts regularly on LinkedIn and has grown his follower base to around 40,000 followers and maintains a website through which he shares his knowledge on various topics related to stock markets. Without wasting any more time, I welcome Mr. Jain to deliver his presentation. The structure of the webinar will be as such. Mr. Jain will present his webinar, which would span roughly about 30 to 45 minutes, following which we would have the question answer session where the questions would be asked by me in the beginning. We would then open it up to the participants. We are also live on Facebook, so if you have any doubts whatsoever, you can go to our Facebook page named markets.tradia and head to the live video section. You can post your questions in the chat and I would take it up with Mr. Jain. Hope you have a wonderful experience. Over to you, Mr. Jain.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining. And wonderful introduction, Amit, how you defined, options into derivative markets and all. So yeah, so generally what I am going to assume over here in this session today is that all of the listeners are actually beginners with little or no experience in options. Whatever a little bit of options you would have understood, you would have heard about from various sources. I would assume that we are going to start from very scratch, so that some people who might not be aware about it will come to speed out of it. So this is, as I call, options 101. So before we begin, just a small disclaimer that I'm not a SEBI registered investment advisor. I am not going to give whatever I am going to tell in this session are just going to be for educational purposes. And by the end of session, what I actually target is that whosoever is listening this session will actually be able to probably tomorrow onwards when the market opens, will understand a bit of how things are moving, how option markets work. And probably after a little bit of practice of 5 to 10 days, that is 1 to 2 weeks, you should be able to take your own option calls, small option calls, but at least you can start doing it. In the last 6 months, what we have observed is that so many people have, opened their Demat accounts, which you would have been hearing in news and elsewhere. and they are taking certain intraday calls. They'll buy some stocks in the morning, sell some stocks sell those stocks in the evening, or they might carry them over for 1 or 2 days and maybe sell them at a profit or at a loss. So obviously these are some stock market trading. But then there are something which is called options. There's something which is called derivatives. So how do we begin with it? How do we start with it? So let me just share some very few slides with you in the initial part of it, where I will explain theoretically what options are. But what I believe is that there is a huge disconnect between theory and practice in the field of stock markets, and in the field of options and derivatives. So after going through a little bit of theory, what I plan to do is that I will share my screen on and open the nseindia.com website and an option website which I use to make strategies, which is Sensible, which has a collaboration with Zerodha. You can use other websites as well. And so I'll show you some practical live examples as to what kind of trades can you actually take in the market tomorrow, or maybe the next week. So with that, let me just share my screen with you and share the PPT to start with. Amit, just let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, it is now visible.
Great. So guys, first of all, what are derivatives? I am assuming you all guys know what are stocks, what are equity stocks, right? Now, derivatives as a product is anything which is deriving its value from another asset. Now, another asset can be stocks, which obviously we are going to talk about. But the assets can anything. Assets can be how much rainfall is it going to happen in the month of October in a city like Mumbai, let's say. So the rainfall is an asset or an underlying you are talking about. And any product which can be made on predicting the right outcome of the rainfall will be your derivative of the rainfall. Similarly, you can say how much traffic is going to pass through a certain bridge in an hour. Very, very random stuff, right? If on any kind of these products where you need to give a prediction, which can be a random prediction or which can be a guessed prediction based on the past history or the movement or whatever, that product which is designed, which takes value from the another underlying asset, is called a derivative. So it is deriving its value somehow, and then there can be a lot of permutations and combinations which can be made, which we are going to talk about in this session. Now there are certain kind of derivatives which I'll need to we'll talk about before going into options per se. So first I'll talk about forwards. Now what are forwards? And let's assume that you are a manufacturer of a plastic company. Now, when you are manufacturing a plastic company, your raw materials are generally what? Crude oil, correct? Now, if you have to procure crude oil and you see in future that crude oil is going to, let's say it is going to increase to $50 a barrel. Currently, it is trading at what, $35, $40. So that means I see an increase in the next 1 month. Let's say I need to procure 100 barrels of oil, of crude oil on 31st October 2020. And I think that though its value is going to rise to $50, I would go out and find someone, a counterparty, who will say, who I will ask that, boss, are you willing to sell it to me at $45 a barrel on 31st October 2020? 100 barrels I need. Now, this guy would think, oh, this guy is stupid, and I think the value of oil is going to go down. And if it is currently trading at 40, I'm just assuming, I don't know the exact value, but if he thinks that the value is going to go down to $35 or will stay the same at $40, he will say, why not? Right, on 31st October, I'll certainly take $45 per barrel. So that is $4,500 from you, and I will deliver it to you. Now, I am thinking that it will increase to $50. So I will think that, okay, I might have saved $5 per barrel. That guy will think that, oh, he will make a profit of $5 to $10 per barrel. So that is how the counterparty have come together and work towards creating this contract, this agreement. Come 31st October, I am bound by this contract to take the delivery of that 100 barrel of crude oil, and that guy is bound by the agreement to sell it to me. There is no second way about it. Obviously, there can be frauds and someone can run away. That's a separate thing. We're not talking about those things in this example. But what we have done over here is we have gone into a forward agreement, right? Now here, what are the things? The underlying is crude oil. The quantity is $100 barrels. The price which we have set is $45 per barrel, which is called a strike price. Just remember this. Currently, the value of crude oil is $40, which is called the spot price. And when is this contract going to mature? On 31st October. So that is our, let's say, expiration date, right? So this is the forward agreement is just a customized version of the futures which we are going to talk about. Now, when these forward markets were running for like years and years, decades, centuries and all, when the exchanges came up, they said, why not standardize all these terms and present it to the investors, present it to the traders who can just buy and sell off the exchange. So they came up with the similar kind of stuff, which is called a future, where let's say we talk about asset as Nifty. There can be asset as Bank Nifty. There can be assets as equity stocks like Reliance, Tata Motors, TCS, Infosys. A lot of stocks are there, right? About 300 stocks in Indian markets are there on which the SEBI has allowed as an underlying asset. We will in this session talk about the example of Nifty, which is the very basic example. And then you can, anyways, the fundamentals remain same. You can keep on replicating the same theory on Bank Nifty and the other underlying stocks. Now, what they did was that they said that, okay, let us standardize the terms and conditions. So the quantity, like we discussed for barrel, was, for oil, crude oil, that was 100 barrels. In futures, one contract of Nifty will have 75, one lot of Nifty will have 75 underlying shares. These are not called shares because Nifty is an index. Let's call them units. If we talk about Reliance, we can say that one contract size is 505 shares. But let's talk about Nifty. So we'll talk about units, which is 75. Strike price, we will discuss that. Okay, they say that okay, in the multiples of 50, the strike price can be chosen by. So that's an option. In futures, you have to either decide you have to buy the futures or you have to sell the futures. So as an individual, as a trader, what will you see? If you think that the market is going to rise, if you think that Nifty is going to rise, you will buy the futures. The expiration date of the future contract is going to be the last Thursday of the month. So in October, I think it's 27th October, not very sure. But this is how the contracts are generally made. Spot price, the price which it is currently trading at. Strike price, there is no concept of strike price in futures as of now. We'll discuss strike price in options. And yeah, that's it. So once you standardize everything and put it on an exchange, it's called a futures. Next we go is to options. Now, what are the problems with the futures? They're not problems, but futures is a highly risky instrument because what I told was that in a forward, if you are a buyer of a future contract, then you are obligated to buy the underlying on the expiry date, right? You have the contractual agreement, you have to adhere to it, you have to honor it, and the seller has to also honor it. So let's say today the Nifty is at 11, I mean on Friday it closed at 11,050 and you purchased one lot which is 75 units. If Nifty goes to 11,100, which is 50 rupees from here, it is going in your direction. You are very happy. You made 50 into 75, which is your 3750 rupees. Let's say the Nifty went into the other direction. You never know, right? You can never predict Nifty. Obviously, there are tools and techniques, but you need to be very open-minded that nobody can predict Nifty. Let's say Nifty goes down by 50 points on Monday. You will have lost 3750. So it's always a 1:1 kind of a risk-reward ratio over here, which is very risky. So there is another instrument which is created, which is called options. Now in options, I am going to tell about much in detail. So I am just stopping over here, not going further into what options are. And then there is a last bit of a derivative, which are called swaps, which are not very much prevalent in India. So I'll skip this as well. And let's go to this major disclaimer. This disclaimer, what I have done is, I have said that risk is directly proportional to return, everybody knows. If you are a very, very conservative investor, you can't take much of a risk. Obviously, you need to compromise on your returns. You need to stick with bonds, right? Bonds pay a fixed rate of interest. but that might be 5%, 4%. These days liquid funds are giving 3%. So lesser risk, because you are very sure you are going to get that money back after 6 months, 1 year, 3 year, whatever the contract, whatever your time horizon is. If you move up the curve, you encounter stocks or equity, which many of you might be aware about listening to this session. In stocks, what happens is that you buy, let's say you have bought certain stock for in the morning 9:20 a.m. that you will sell it by the evening. But if you think that the price has not moved in your direction, probably you can think to carry it over to next day, then next day. And sometimes people keep carrying it over 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It becomes a long-term holding. Risk is less than other options and futures, but more than a bond, because if you want your money back after 1 year, probably the market has not done good. So you are still in loss, but maybe in the future, if you have a good stock, if your thesis is right, sometime it might in the future, it will increase. If you go up the curve, you will encounter options and futures. If you see the fag end, futures are the riskiest derivative instruments I know about. There are other instruments like a private equity, venture capital fund you are investing in. We are not going into those instruments, but out of your stocks, bonds and derivatives, this is somewhere your risk return profile. Options is somewhere between stocks and futures. That means you can get a great payoff, but with a limited risk. You are not taking as high risk as a future. You are not taking as low and a safe risk as a stock. But obviously, the more risk you have taken rather than investing stocks, the higher the returns also you can consider. Once you become a little pro in options trading, around, I would say 5 to 7% a month can be easily earned. Obviously, there are risk management tools, which I'll explain in this session going forward. But consider just a conservative thing, a 4%, a 1% a week. Even at a 1% a week, which is, I'm talking about very conservative approach, you are 50% around in a year, right? It's pretty cool, right? It's pretty good rather than investing in stocks and holding on to stocks for many years and assuming that you are going to generate 15% CAGR over year after year. So those are lucrative things, but it comes with the envelope of risk. So this is a disclaimer. So whosoever is not willing to take that kind of a risk, where you should consider your money can also be wiped off, you can leave this session, because this session is not for you. You should stick with the bonds and stocks and equities, which is a very, very good approach, not a problem. But if you are a little enterprising and can take a little bit of risk, then we can go ahead learning about a little bit of options. Now, what are options? The two types of options, call option and a put option. Like you remember, I told in the futures part that depending upon what you think where Nifty might go, up or down, you can either buy a future or you can sell a future. In option, what happens is a similar kind of thing. The great thing with options or futures, the derivatives, compared with the stocks and equities are, in stocks, you'll always make money when you buy and later sell, right? If you think the market is going to go up, then only you can make money in the stock market, until and unless it's an intraday short call, which short sell you do. Let's not go over there. But in a general condition, you can make money from stocks only when the market is going up. But what if you think that the market is going down? What in March, if you had predicted that, oh, market is going to crash, what will I do? A general person who would not have a knowledge about derivatives, what would he have done is, the best he could do is sell off his entire portfolio of stocks. That, okay, I know that the market might go, and you had predicted correctly that the market might go 30% or 40% down from here. Just encash everything, sit on cash, and you are done, correct? But in case you knew about the derivatives, then you would have not worried about selling your stocks, selling your equities, and you knew about something called a put option or something called a selling of futures, and you would have made tons of money in the fall, which happened in the month of March. When you are thinking that the market is going to go up, you buy a call option. When you think that the market is going to go down, you buy a put option. We'll discuss this in a little bit of detail. This is fine, right? Now, how do theory defines call option? The call option gives the buyer, so obviously call option and a put options are contracts, right? Just like, or agreements, just like we discussed about in the forwards and futures. There will be a buyer and there will be a seller of that contract. Now let's assume you are the buyer of a call option contract. Now what this gives you, this gives the buyer you an option or a flexibility to buy the asset at a prefixed price. So if you think that the market today is Nifty today is at 11,050, and you think that okay, 1 month down the line Nifty will go to 11,200 for example. So you buy a call option with a strike price, which is a prefixed price at, let's say, 11,100. Someone will be there in the market, will be there as a counterparty on the exchange, who will think otherwise, who will think the market is going to go down. So he will sell you, he will be willing to sell you that contract. Okay, take this contract, right? Now what happens is that you wait till the expiration day, which is the last Thursday of the month, which I talked about in futures. And then you see where the market is. If the market is at 11,000, above 11,200, for which you thought the prefixed price was, right? Sorry, the prefixed price was 11,100. If the market is above that, then you say to the counterparty, see, the Nifty is at 11,200. I want to buy Nifty at 11,100 as per our agreement. That means you buy it from him at 11,100 and you are going to sell it in the open market at 11,200 because that's the going rate, right? So in and all, you have made 100 rupees profit, correct? The seller makes the 100 rupees loss because it's a zero-sum game. But this is entirely what futures was about. But there is a twist. If you think that if you eventually see that the market has gone down by the end of the month, last Thursday of the month, and it goes down to 10,900, that means it's worthless for you to exercise your option, because you are not that stupid to go out and buy that Nifty at 11,100 when the going rate in the market is just 10,900. You would rather go out in the market and buy it at 10,900, right? Directly, rather than getting that into that contract. So this is the difference. If you think the situation is not in your favor, you can easily ignore it. You can easily let it expire worthless. You can think that, okay, this paper is useless. Assume that agreement is a paper. Tear the paper, put it in a dustbin, gone. Nothing is going to bind you by that document. Now, because you are getting that flexibility, because you are going to get, you are getting that option, what is the downside? You need to pay something to get that option, right? Free mein nahi milta. So whatever you are paying to get that option is called the option premium. Let's assume that that is 20 rupees, right? That contract is 20 rupees. So you pay that seller, ki boss, this is 20 rupees, take this and give me this flexibility. He will be happy to give because he is thinking that the market is going down. So eventually he will think, mera to 20 rupees ka fayda ho gaya, right? But if you make 100 rupees profit and you have already paid 20 for the contract, net, you will make only 80 rupees of profit, which is still good for you. So you will only get into this kind of a contract when you think that your profit is going to be more than 20 rupees, because 20 rupees is the upfront cost. So I hope call option is clear. When you think that the market is going to go up, you pay a little premium to say that, okay, if things are in my favor, I will exercise my option and I will be in a little bit of profit. But if you think the market is going to go down, many people in our group, in our trader group, are also keep on discussing that the market is going to go down on Monday or going to go up on Monday. Let's say someone thinks that the market is going to go to 10,900. So you buy a put option, which gives the buyer of the contract an option or flexibility to sell the asset at a prefixed price. Now the seller is also called a writer, which you need to just keep on remembering the terms and all. Now what happens in this contract is, again, Nifty is at 11,050. You think that the Nifty is going to go till 10,900. But there is a counterparty who thinks Nifty is going to go up. You say, okay, so take the, I'll purchase this put option from you with a strike price of 10,900 and the premium of which is, again, let's say 20 rupees. Now what happens is that by the time the expiry happens, if the Nifty certainly ends up in your direction, that means it goes down till 10,800, you will say, okay, this contract is there. You said we are bound in this contract. Now I need to sell. I should have the flexibility to sell this Nifty to you at 10,900. What will you do? You will purchase Nifty at 10,800 from the market, sell it to this guy at 10,900, made 100 rupees profit, right? and then obviously the 20 rupees the option premium is your loss. So eventually you made an 80 rupees profit. But if the market goes up, your put option expires worthless. You do nothing about it. You have made a loss of only 20 rupees. So this is how the concept, the theoretical concept of call option and put option works. I hope this is clear to people, and we will move ahead. So now we need to discuss that what happens in the market actually. In the market, you are not going to find these buyers, sellers who are going to, say that, okay, I need to buy Nifty, I need to sell Nifty, whatever, blah, blah. In the market, and this is where the difference between the theory and the practice are. I'll show you on the NSE website. What happens in the market is you trade call option and put option premiums. You are not going to sell a call option or a put option just like that. It's only the whatever is trading in the market is the premium of that, the options, the call option or the put option. Now, what are going to affect, what are the factors which play a role in defining what that premium actually should be? In the example, I took 20 rupees as a random number, right? But what 20 rupees random number nahi hai. That is calculated by something called a Black-Scholes-Merton model, which is way complex for this class to get into that. I'll show you the formula. I mean, if you have not seen before it, before this section, probably you will be amused. But let's talk about the 5 parameters which affect the call and the put option premium. One is your spot price. Let me show all of the 5, and then we'll talk about them one by one. Strike price, risk-free rate, time remaining to expiry, and volatility. I'll go about this in detail for all of them, but let me show you this formula which I was talking about. Now C and P are your call and put option premium respectively. Now this is the formula. Let's not see the formula as of now, but just see that these 5 parameters are there. Spot price, strike price. I am removing the formula, guys, because your mind might get distracted. What is the spot price? Currently what it is trading at. So Nifty today is at 11,050, is called a spot price. What is the strike price? And we are talking about call option as of now. Let's talk about 11,200 as the strike price, which we discussed that, okay, you are willing to buy Nifty at 11,200. That is your strike price. Risk-free rate is risk-free rate. Nothing to explain about that. Time remaining to expiry. If we are talking about the October last Thursday, today is 27th of September. If 28th of October or whatever that date is the end of expiry, you still have 30 days remaining. So T is 30. And this sigma, which is your volatility, is the the most important parameter that goes into the formula. What is the volatility? Volatility is, the standard deviation, or how do I define that? Historically, if you see over the last, let's say 52 weeks, how volatile the market has been, how volatile Nifty has been. This can be calculated by simple mathematical formulas, which you might be aware about. So if you see again in this formula, that sigma is a part of this equation, and S naught is there. N is your the normal distribution, the values of which you can get from net or anywhere, and D1 and D2 are defined by these formulas. So having said that, let's because this is only a 45-50 minute session, let's get directly into the practical aspect of it, how to trade options in the market, in the live market. So let me tell you how will you find this on the NSE website. Amit, are you able to see my Google Chrome right now, or is it like I need to stop and restart my screen sharing?
I think you'll have to stop and restart. I can see your presentation. I can't see the Google.
Okay, all right. I hope now it's visible.
Yes, it is visible now.
Okay, so guys, simple. Go open nseindia.com. This is a new version, and I'm not very comfortable with the new version. So what I generally do is I go on the old version by clicking over here in the top row, and this the old website which I've been using for years and years, and I don't know, these guys have changed, and it's difficult for me to find the option option over there. So this is the old website. Just follow where I am going and what I am clicking. You go to live market and you go to equity derivatives under option chain. So something like this opens. Now this is called option chain equity derivatives. Don't need to bother about all these so many numbers. In the next 10 minutes, I will simplify the entire table for you. Okay. So let's start from the top. First of all, you know how to open this, right? Now you start from the top. What is mentioned over here? Underlying index is Nifty 11,050.25, which it closed as of Friday, right? As of 25th September at 3:30 p.m. Now in the live market, obviously this value keeps on changing depending upon whatever the Nifty current market price is. Now this table is for Nifty. You can select any other what we talked about, like Bank Nifty or other stocks. You can see there are 3 indices. Even Nifty IT index is also introduced by NSE, but there is no trading done over there. Bank Nifty is also very liquid, just like Nifty, but I generally use only Nifty. There are people who will use both Nifty, Bank Nifty. There are certain people who are only comfortable with Nifty, but you need to practice your own stuff and see what are you comfortable at. I will tell the differences between Nifty and Bank Nifty as to there are few pros and cons, and you can select your own. If you also want to select any stock per se, let's say we talked about Reliance. Just type in Reliance, press go, and see this option chain is for Reliance, where you can find underlying stock Reliance at 2198.85, which was its closing price on Friday. Anyways, let's go back to Nifty. Select index Nifty, and we are back to Nifty. Now let's go in the table below. First of all, rather than going table below, we see that something is written which is called the expiry date, and it's a drop down. Now if you see, the date is of 1st October. Now what SEBI what NSE did few years ago, I think couple of years back, initially it only used to be 1 month contract. Only the last Thursday expiry was available in the market. But a couple of years back, what Nifty did, what NSE and SEBI did was that weekly options contract will also be there. So every Thursday, just look at this drop down: 1st October, 8th October, 15th, 22nd, 29th. These are all weekly expiries. Obviously 29th is going to be your monthly expiry. For this session, we'll talk about monthly expiries, and we'll replicate this on the weekly in a short bit. So let me open this expiry chart for option chain for 29th October expiry, which is the monthly. Now if you see the table below and puts, which I explained to you. In the center, you can see there's something called a strike price, which we spoke about. There are few items on the left which are in yellow color, and the simultaneously it is white for puts. And then after a certain gap, certain threshold, there are the colors change, right? Yellow goes towards put and white goes towards yellow, towards calls. What does that mean? If you see where that line is 11,050, right, which is your current spot price. So call options, which are anything with strike price above 11,050, are yellow, and likewise for puts, anything above 11,050, that is 11,100 onwards, are in yellow. What does yellow mean? Yellow mean in the money. In the money options would mean, if you talk about today's expiry, let's say Nifty ends at 11,050, you are in the money. That means you will get something out of, because you will exercise that. I'm just forget about the premium price and all those things. But if Nifty ends anywhere below 11,050, you will exercise it, right? Because you have a contract to buy it at 11,050. So if Nifty is today at is at 10,700, you are in the money. So anything which is in the money means you still have certain value out of it. Correct. So spot price, if it is at, let's say, 11,000, that means you are 50 rupees in the money, theoretically. 10,950, you are 100 rupees in the money. Obviously, it will not be 100 as of now, but on the expiry date. So this is a rule. This is a rule in option trading, that on the expiry date, the value of that call option is defined by a very simple formula, which is your strike minus spot for the call option. So strike, if the strike is 11,050 and your spot is 10,950, then the value of that option premium will be 100. So that's the other way around I'm talking about. You simplifying, you need to listen, or you need to think about in this way, that if your strike price is 11,050, right, and Nifty ends anywhere above that, then you are going to make money. If Nifty is going to make anywhere below that, then you are going to let the option expire. So what I was talking about was in a different way. You just think in a simplistic way that if 11,100 is your end spot price, then you make a 50 rupees. So the general formula what I was talking about was that you subtract spot minus strike is going to be the value of the premium on the expiry date. So I'll talk about that in a little bit detail after that. In the put, opposite thing happens. So in the put, what happens is that if you end below the strike price, then you are in the profit, opposite to call. So if you have a 11,050 ka put, you will make money when the Nifty is below 11,050, as we talked about. Let's say the Nifty is at 11,009 or 10,950 on the expiry date. That means you are going to make theoretically a profit of 100 on the put premium. The value of the premium is going to be 100. Now we'll go into detail a bit, but now let's see what is the strike price in a multiple of, right from 9,300 in a multiple of 50, it goes on till 13,150. This is just random numbers. There can be 11,000, not random numbers, but these extremes are random numbers. There can be 11,200 also, or 13,200 also. There can be 13,500 also, or in the above there can be something in 8,500 also. That depends upon what kind of strike price are you going to bet about. First of all, let's talk about the call option, and let's see LTP, the column called LTP. This is the price of that option. If you notice, as the strike price increases, your option value keeps on, sorry for the arrow, your option value keeps on decreasing. The premium keeps on decreasing, right? If there is some kind of anomaly, that's actually an anomaly, but ideally, in an ideal case, the call option premium should keep on decreasing with the increase in the strike price. Why is that? I'll tell you. On the other hand, if you see the put side, the LTP keeps on increasing with the increase in the strike price. Now, why is that so? Now, think about this again theoretically. If I am getting into a contract, with someone, and I say, boss, I am going to buy Nifty on the expiry date at 11,200, I need to pay him a premium of 177.95 rupees, 178, let's assume about, and you multiply it by 75, because as I told, the contract size is 75. So 178 into 75, whatever that might be, close to probably 12,000, 13,000 rupees is what you need to pay to get this option, call option of 11,200. Now you think that today the market is at 11,050. What are the chances that Nifty might end at 11,200 in a matter of 30 days? Just think about some number. Now think that what is the probability of Nifty ending at 10,900, much more than 11,200, correct? So the probability is in your favor. So the seller will obviously charge you a little higher premium if you are going to buy a strike price of 10,900, because the things are in your favor as of now only. So the premium to buy the strike price of 10,900 is 335 rupees 40 paisa, which is, again, if you multiply by 75, would be somewhere around 25,000. On the opposite side, in the put, the opposite side happens. If you say that I will sell you Nifty on the expiry date at 11,200, then, and rather sell you at 10,900. So why would somebody want to buy Nifty at 11,200 today after 30 days when the probability is more in your favor, right? Because you are going to sell him at a higher price today. So in this case, the premium of put option is going to be higher. And if you tell him that, okay, I am going to sell it at 10,900 to you, he will say, okay, things are anyways in my favor. So that is why the premium is little lesser. More upward you go in this chain, let's say we talk about 10,400, the premium is only 83 rupees. Similarly, if we talk about 12,000 call option, that you say that you think that the Nifty might go so high that it might breach 12,000 in a matter of 30 days, then you only pay 18 rupees, because the probability of Nifty going to 12,000 is very, very minimal. So 18 into 75 is very less, right? 1,200. This is why the call option premium are decreasing with the increase in strike price, and the put options are increasing. So I hope this relation is clear between the call option and the put option with the strike price. Other thing in this chart, what you need to pay attention to is the IV.
Vaibhav, can you just hold on just 2
Yeah,
minutes?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Guys, if you have any doubts, I think this is this was a pretty complex part that Vaibhav explained. So if you have any doubts right now, also you can probably just ask him right away.
Yeah, I'll be
Maybe
happy
just
to
2 minutes,
repeat
right?
this if needed, because
Let's
if
keep it
this
as
is,
interactive as possible.
yeah,
So
because
if
this is
you,
something which you will need to understand a bit more in order to talk about the real trading.
right.
So if
So
any
you
questions,
can
happy to
switch
talk.
on your mics, guys, if you want. You can directly ask the questions.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vaibhav, can you please explain the in the money call option one more time?
So what happens in the money is, you think about that if the we are talking about strike price of, let's say, 11,050, right? You are in the money when, see, understand the concept of in the money as that today if Nifty is at 11,050.
Vaibhav, I think it would be better if you explain that in Hindi. Most people will be comfortable, I think so.
Okay, is it? ठीक है वो करता हूं मैं. तो अगर निफ्टी का आज वैल्यू 11,050 चल रहा है, राइट, तो इसका स्पॉट प्राइस अभी 11,050 है. क्लियर गाइस? अभी क्या होगा कि अगर हम स्ट्राइक प्राइस की बात करें और वो स्ट्राइक प्राइस अगर 11,050 से कम है, यानी लेट्स से 10,900 है, तो हम आज ही वी आर इन द मनी, राइट, वी आर इन प्रॉफिट. हमें लग रहा है कि निफ्टी आज ही हमें 150 रुपए ऊपर है हमारे स्ट्राइक प्राइस से. तो हम ये बोलेंगे कि इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द स्ट्राइक प्राइस एट 10,900, जो 335 रुपए 40 पैसे का है, और निफ्टी का स्पॉट प्राइस आज ऊपर है, तो हम इन द मनी है. सिंपल फॉर्मूला याद रखने का है कि कॉल ऑप्शन के लिए अगर स्पॉट प्राइस यानी आज का प्राइस स्ट्राइक प्राइस से ऊपर है, तो हम इन द मनी है, हम अभी से फायदे में है. पुट ऑप्शन के लिए उल्टा होता है. पुट ऑप्शन में क्या होगा, अगर स्ट्राइक प्राइस हमारे स्पॉट प्राइस से ऊपर है तो हम इन द मनी है. क्यों? क्योंकि अगर 11,200 स्ट्राइक प्राइस की बात करें और आज ही हम 11,050 पे बैठे हैं, मतलब कि हम 150 रुपए के बेनिफिट पे हैं अभी से. तो अगर हम 11,200 का पुट ऑप्शन का प्रीमियम देखें, जो अभी है 349 रुपीज, ये लाल वाला और हरा वाला मत देखो, ये चेंज है. एलटीपी देखना. अगर 11,200 का स्ट्राइक तो का प्रीमियम पुट का 349 है, तो हम ये बोल सकते हैं कि हम आज ही थोड़ा सा बेनिफिट में है. वो बेनिफिट कितना है? वो बेनिफिट है सिर्फ 150 रुपए का. तुम ये बोलोगे कि 150 रुपए का बेनिफिट है, तो मैं इसके लिए 349 रुपए का प्रीमियम क्यों दूं? तो ये यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा एक ट्रिक है. यही ऑप्शंस को सबसे ज्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्स और इंटरेस्टिंग बनाता है, जो हम अभी आगे लाइव ट्रेडिंग में देखेंगे.
One more thing, Vaibhav, one question that has come onto the group. What does it mean when the LTP is negative? I don't see the LTP.
LTP is not negative. Change is net change is negative.
Yeah, exactly. So Ishan, I think what you're seeing is not LTP; it is the change, right? So that's not the LTP. The LTP is the column that is right beside the change.
LTP will always be, price will always be positive, Ishan. So obviously.
All right, cool. So you can
any
continue.
other question?
Guys, if you have any other questions, you're free to actually let's keep it as an interactive session.
I mean, yeah, let's keep it as interactive rather than me finishing and then asking questions.
Exactly.
बीच में question पूछते रहो यार.
पूछते रहो. If you just want to do it, just maybe raise your hand or let me know. You can just chat and I'll just ask this question, or you want to ask it directly, you can just switch on your mic and do it. All right, Vaibhav, we are good to go.
So guys, इस chart में एक हमने स्ट्राइक प्राइस का इंपॉर्टेंस समझ लिया, एक एलटीपी का समझ लिया. ओआई, चेंज इन ओआई, वॉल्यूम, बिड आस्क क्वांटिटी, ये सब चीजें जिससे ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा फॉर ऑप्शन 101 क्लास. बट अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज आई एम गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट इज आईवी. But before I go into IV, I need to talk about one very important thing, which is what I just अभी जो मैंने highlight किया कि 349 है, फिर 150, 100 क्यों? होता क्या है ऑप्शंस में, आप जैसे जैसे स्ट्राइक के पास जाते रहोगे, सॉरी आप जैसे जैसे एक्सपायरी के पास जाते रहोगे, आपका ऑप्शन की प्रीमियम कम होता जाएगा. इसका लॉजिक समझो, सीधी सी बात ये है. एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं कॉल ऑप्शन साइड पे. आपने 11,200 का स्ट्राइक प्राइस का कॉल ऑप्शन खरीदा है, जिसकी वैल्यू आज कितनी है? 177.95. अब अगर निफ्टी, आज 30 दिन बाकी है एक्सपायरी में, राइट? 29 अक्टूबर हमने एक्सपायरी देखा था, तो 32 दिन बाकी है. अब अगर हम लोग कल बात करते हैं, निफ्टी हमारा 11,050 पे ही रहता है, अगर कहीं नहीं मूव करता, लेकिन हमारा टाइम टू एक्सपायरी एक दिन से कम हो गया है, तो ऑटोमेटिकली ये 177.95 का प्रीमियम कम हो जाएगा. जैसे 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 हम मार्केट के एक्सपायरी के पास जाते जाएंगे, ये प्रीमियम कम होता चला जाएगा. अगर 29 अक्टूबर 2020 तक निफ्टी 11,050 पे कांस्टेंट रहा, ऑब्वियसली होगा नहीं, हाइपोथेटिकल कंडीशन है, अगर 11,050 पे कॉन्स्टेंटली वहीं पे रहा, तो ऑन 29 अक्टूबर इसकी थ्योरेटिकली इसकी वैल्यू क्या हो जानी चाहिए? इसकी वैल्यू होनी चाहिए 150 रुपीज, बिकॉज आज 11,050 है. सॉरी, इसकी वैल्यू हो जाएगी, सॉरी गाइस, इसकी वैल्यू हो जाएगी 0. बिकॉज इसकी वैल्यू 0 क्यों होगी? 11,200 का स्ट्राइक प्राइस है. आपका ये ऑप्शन है कि हम इसको 11,200 पे खरीदेंगे, लेकिन 11,200 तो निफ्टी गया ही नहीं, निफ्टी 11,200 के नीचे बंद हुआ, तो आप इसको एक्सरसाइज ही नहीं करोगे, तो इसकी वैल्यू हो जाएगी 0. यू विल लेट इट एक्सपायर वर्थलेस. सो ऑन द डेट ऑफ एक्सपायरी, अब ये ध्यान से सुनना, ऑन द डेट ऑफ एक्सपायरी 11,200 के ऊपर के जितने भी सॉरी नीचे के जितने भी वो हैं, 11,050 के नीचे के जितने भी स्ट्राइक वो है स्ट्राइक प्राइसेस, इन सबकी वैल्यू जितने भी आज की डेट में व्हाइट में है, इन सबकी वैल्यू 0 हो जानी है. गिवन दैट हम लोग 11,050 का अजम्पशन ले रहे हैं कि एक्सपायरी के दिन भी 11,050 की ही वैल्यू रहेगी स्पॉट प्राइस, बिकॉज आप एक्सरसाइज ही नहीं करोगे 11,100, 11,200, 11,300, आप कहोगे जाने दो, जो गया सो गया. लेकिन अगर निफ्टी 11,000 पे एंड होता है, तो आपको 50 रुपए मिल जाएंगे बाय दैट थ्योरेटिकल एग्जांपल विच आई गेव यू. अब आज 11,000 स्ट्राइक प्राइस की वैल्यू 280 रुपए है, और मैं कह रहा हूं इसकी वैल्यू 50 रह जाएगी. तो ऑल्दो डायरेक्शनल आपका फेवर में रहा, आपने सही डायरेक्शन में भी गेस किया कि आपने कहा कि निफ्टी या तो यहीं रहेगा या ऊपर जाएगा, चीजें आपके फेवर में है, आपने स्ट्राइक प्राइस भी मस्त लिया है. हम 11,200 का एग्जांपल लेके ही चलते हैं. 177.95 का आपने खरीदा है, और निफ्टी एक्चुअली 11,050 की जगह 11,300 पे बंद हुआ, यानी कि 100 रुपए अबव द स्ट्राइक प्राइस विच यू हैव बॉट इट एट. तो थ्योरेटिकली क्या वैल्यू होनी चाहिए एक्सपायरी पे इसकी, ऑप्शन प्रीमियम की, कॉल ऑप्शन की? 100 रुपए, which is your spot minus strike, 11,300 minus 11,200. बट आपने खरीदा कितने पे इसको? 177.95 पे. तो आपने, even though you were right in your direction, you have made a loss of 77.95 rupees. 100 तो आपको मिलेगा, बाकी 77.95 आपका लॉस है. तो ideally what you should look at is कि निफ्टी, you will make money only when Nifty ends above 11,200 plus 177.95, which is 11,377.95. उसके नीचे you are in loss. तो इतनी हाई वैल्यू क्यों है आज की डेट में? Why 177.95? 11,000 की वैल्यू 280 क्यों है भाई आज? The reason simply being that अभी 30 दिन बाकी है. The chances, the probability for Nifty to go to 11,200 is higher because you have 30 days time frame. बहुत चीजें हो सकती हैं 30 डेज में. लेकिन अगर आज हम 28 अक्टूबर पे बैठे हैं और 29 अक्टूबर की बात चल रही है, एक दिन बाकी है, आज 11,050 है अगर निफ्टी, तो 11,200 जाने का आपका प्रोबेबिलिटी कितना है? बहुत कम है, करेक्ट? मे बी 100 पॉइंट बढ़ जाएगा निफ्टी, चलो 150 पॉइंट बढ़ जाएगा ऐसे वॉलेटाइल मार्केट में, बट प्रोबेबिलिटी कम ही है. तो इसकी वैल्यू बाय द टाइम 28 अक्टूबर आएगा, इसकी वैल्यू क्लोज टू 0 हो जाएगी. 2 रुपए होगी, 5 रुपए होगी, 10 रुपए होगी, क्योंकि थोड़ा सा वैल्यू तो रहेगा ना, एक दिन में कुछ भी हो सकता है. व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज कि अब जैसे जैसे एक्सपायरी डेट के पास जाओगे, आपकी वैल्यूज कम होती जाएंगी ऑप्शन प्रीमियम की, इसको कहते हैं टाइम डीके. Because of the increasing time, because of the reducing time to expiry, your option price value, all other things being constant, is reducing. सेम चीज है पुट पे भी. पुट का भी ऑब्वियसली चीजें उल्टी होती हैं. एक पुट का एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं जल्दी से. आज आपने 10,900 का पुट खरीदा है 208 रुपए का. अगर निफ्टी 10,900 के ऊपर कहीं भी बंद होता है, 10,901 पे भी बंद होता है, तो इसकी वैल्यू हो जाएगी 0. तो जो इन द मनी का जो वो भी पूछ रहे थे, इसको इस तरह से भी देख सकते हैं कि जितने भी व्हाइट वाले हैं ना आज की डेट में, इफ निफ्टी स्टेज एट 11,050, ये सारे व्हाइट वाले 0 हो जाएंगे और सारे येलो वालों की वैल्यू फॉर्मूले से आएगी, विच इज योर स्पॉट माइनस स्ट्राइक फॉर योर कॉल ऑप्शन एंड द ऑपोजिट फॉर पुट ऑप्शन. अब अगर निफ्टी 10,800 चला गया, थिंग्स आर इन योर फेवर. अगर आपने 10,900 का स्ट्राइक लिया है, बट 10,800 पे उसकी थ्योरेटिकली वैल्यू क्या आएगी? 100 रुपए. तो स्टिल यू हैव मेड अ लॉस ऑफ 108 रुपीज. सो यू आइडियली नीड टू सी निफ्टी कि वो 10,900 माइनस 208, विच इज 10,692 के नीचे ही बंद होना चाहिए इन ऑर्डर टू लीव यू इन एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ प्रॉफिट. Now, अब these all things you will think, यार अभी इसमें इतना पैसा लगाएं, and then chances are so less. 10,900 के बाद भी we have to see till 10,692. This is what makes options interesting, and this is what makes it very very difficult to make money out of from. But what can you do to make money out of it from? So वो थोड़ी strategies मैं बताऊंगा. But अभी ये time decay का फंडा guys clear हो गया है, तो मैं बढ़ता हूँ आगे. Otherwise I am happy to repeat it once.
I think you can continue.
Okay. So last thing guys है IV. तो IV क्या होता है? आप लोगों को वो फॉर्मूला दिखाया था मैंने. I have to show it again if you don't remember. But then there were 5 parameters you remember: spot price, strike price, risk-free rate, time remaining to expiry, and the volatility. अब इसको C की वैल्यू मैं दिखा देता हूँ. अमित, आई एम जस्ट स्टॉप रीशेयरिंग माय विंडो टू दैट पीपीटी बिकॉज़ दैट्स इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग टू शो.
Yeah, sure.
सो गाइस, इस फॉर्मूले में इफ यू सी, हम लोग पहले इसमें सी की वैल्यू निकालने के लिए D1 कैलकुलेट करेंगे. S0 की वैल्यू स्पॉट प्राइस हमें मार्केट से पता चल जाएगा ऑन अ लाइव बेसिस. 11,050 है. स्ट्राइक प्राइस हमने डाल दिया 11,200. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट कॉल ऑप्शन विद स्ट्राइक प्राइस ऑफ 11,200. आर की वैल्यू हमने डाल दी रिस्क फ्री रेट 5%, 6%, जो भी चल रहा हो गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज का रिस्क फ्री रेट. एंड टाइम टू एक्सपायरी भी हम डाल सकते हैं बिकॉज वी नो कि आज की डेट में 32 दिन बाकी है, 31 दिन बाकी है, कितने दिन बाकी है. The only thing which is a little tricky is to put सिग्मा की वैल्यू. सिग्मा की वैल्यू भी हमें हिस्टोरिकली मिल जाती है, तो इसकी वैल्यू भी हम डाल के सी की वैल्यू कैलकुलेट कर लेंगे. बट वो सी की वैल्यू जो कैलकुलेटेड आएगी वो होगी थ्योरेटिकल वैल्यू. जो आपको वैल्यूएशन जब करते हैं ना हम लोग स्टॉक प्राइसेस का, जो इंट्रिंसिक प्राइस कहते हैं ना, जो डीसीएफ मॉडल से कंपेरेबल मेथड से निकल के आती है. बट जरूरी नहीं है कि ट्रेड भी उसी वैल्यू पे हो रहा है. तभी तो यू बाय एंड सेल लुकिंग एट कि आज कम पे ट्रेड हो रहा है तो लेट मी बाय इट, इंट्रिंसिक प्राइस तो ज्यादा है. इसमें भी सेम फंडा है. थ्योरेटिकली ये वैल्यू आनी चाहिए, बट जरूरी नहीं है उसी पे ट्रेड कर रहा हो. लेट्स से कॉल ऑप्शन की वैल्यू थ्योरेटिकली 177.95 देखी थी. लेट्स से थ्योरेटिकली आ रही है 150, बट इट इज करंटली ट्रेडिंग एट 177.95. 28 रुपए ज्यादा है. क्यों ज्यादा है? 4 पैरामीटर्स तो कांस्टेंट है, आप बदल नहीं सकते उसको. बट इफ यू पुट, अब इसको रिवर्स कैलकुलेट करते हैं, मेकिंग सिग्मा इज द सब्जेक्ट, पुट सी इक्वल्स टू 177.95. बाकी हम लोग S0, K, R एंड T की वैल्यू डाल सकते हैं. हम रिवर्स कैलकुलेशन से सिग्मा की वैल्यू निकालेंगे, सिग्मा की इंप्लाइड वैल्यू निकालेंगे. दिस इज कॉल्ड इंप्लाइड वॉलेटिलिटी. दिस इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट बिकॉज व्हाट हैपेंस इज मेनी टाइम्स व्हेन द मार्केट इज वेरी वॉलेटाइल, जो अभी चल रहा है, जैसा मार्च में तो क्रेजी था वॉलेटिलिटी, यू वुड रिमेंबर. अगर वॉलेटिलिटी ज्यादा है मार्केट में तो implied volatility will always be on a higher side. यानी कि आपकी जो कॉल की जो वैल्यू आएगी, वो जो सिग्मा जो रखा हुआ है यहाँ पे हमने हिस्टोरिकल वॉलेटिलिटी का, इसमें हिस्टोरिकल की जगह आप इम्प्लाइड वैल्यू डाल के देखो तो वो मार्केट प्राइस पे आएगा. टुडे इफ यू आर अज्यूमिंग दैट द मार्केट इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी वॉलेटाइल, चाहे ऊपर के डायरेक्शन में चाहे नीचे के डायरेक्शन में, आई एम इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द डायरेक्शन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट, if you think the market is going to be very volatile, then historically it used to be, you just don't have to worry about, दोनों कॉल और पुट की वैल्यू बढ़ेगी ही बढ़ेगी, चाहे मार्केट ऊपर जाए चाहे नीचे जाए. लॉट ऑफ पीपल जस्ट ट्रेड ऑन द वॉलेटिलिटी बिट. उनको लगता है मार्केट वॉलेटाइल है तो खरीद लेंगे, दोनों खरीद लेंगे, कॉल भी खरीद लेंगे, पुट भी खरीद लेंगे. हमें नहीं पता मार्केट कहां जाने वाला है, किसी को नहीं पता मार्केट कहां जाने वाला है, दोनों ले लो बिकॉज आईवी इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज. लेकिन ऑन द कॉन्ट्ररी, अगर आज मार्केट ऑलरेडी इतना वॉलेटाइल है एंड इफ यू गो एंड बाय अ कॉल ऑप्शन और अ पुट ऑप्शन एंड देन यू नोटिस यार डायरेक्शन भी सही था मेरा, मैंने कैलकुलेशन भी ठीक किया था, बट निफ्टी की कॉल की वैल्यू तो गिर गई. इसीलिए गिर गई बिकॉज इंप्लाइड वॉलेटिलिटी कम हो गई, बिकॉज मार्केट अभी 11,050 पे कांस्टेंट हो गया. इट डिड नॉट मूव मच फ्रॉम 11,050. तो वॉलेटिलिटी हैज बीन रिड्यूस्ड and gradually forward looking basis pe this volatility is nothing but a bias, a trader's perception of where is the market going to go now, is it going to be volatile or is it not going to be. ये forward looking है, तो इसको हम लोग हमेशा बैक कैलकुलेट करके इसकी implied volatility हम लोगों को निकालनी पड़ेगी. और ये एक सिंगल पैरामीटर है जो which changes things a lot, which you cannot calculate, right? Because this is just future looking, forward looking kind of a thing. Now let me go back to that option chain and share some strategies with you. But abhi if you have any questions, so now I'll just show you the IV thing. Abhi IV देखो 11,050 का IV है 14.66 और put का है 23.80. अच्छा, put का IV will always be more than call का IV. एक एक्सरसाइज दे रहा हूं मैं, इसको सोचना क्यों है. I am on the Tradia group. If you all are on the Tradia group, I can answer over there, or if you want to write answers to me directly, you can find me in that group and can ask me directly. But call option का IV will always be less than the put option का IV. सोचना इसको क्यों होगा ऐसा. But if you see that 14.66 is your 11,050 का, and हर strike price का IV अलग है. क्यों? क्योंकि हर strike का demand supply अलग है ना. The demand for 11,750 का strike price का call option is separate from 11. तो कोई लोग 11,800 को खरीद रहे हैं, कोई 750 को खरीद रहे हैं. आपको कौन सा खरीदना चाहिए? This is a very big question. Which strike price should I buy? This I'll answer in the session only. 14.66 is the volatility of 11,050 and 14.84 ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं है, सब जनरली 13-14 के अराउंड है. इसका मतलब they are expecting an annual volatility of 14% फ्रॉम द 11,050. अब ये IV है, मतलब कॉल ऑप्शन की वैल्यू उन्होंने फॉर्मूले में रखी होगी 251.90, तो रिवर्स कैलकुलेट करके ये 14.66 आई है. बट इफ यू वांट टू नो कि इसकी थ्योरेटिकल वॉलेटिलिटी, हिस्टोरिकल वॉलेटिलिटी कितनी है, लेट मी शो यू. आई विल क्लिक ऑन दिस 251.90. हमारे पास एक ये पेज खुलेगा. दिस इज स्पेसिफिक टू 11,050 का स्ट्राइक प्राइस कॉल, एंड इफ यू गो ओवर हियर अदर इंफॉर्मेशन, then you will see annualized volatility is 32.90 and implied volatility is only 14.66. आधे से भी कम है. इसका मतलब people are thinking, the perception is that the Nifty is not going to be volatile in future. This is a surprise, right? But option data is giving you this surprise. So people are thinking that Nifty will remain in a zone now, will remain in a range. वो 10,000 और 12,000 की बात है, ये नहीं दिखा रहे. But this can change anytime. कभी भी परसेप्शन में चेंज आ सकता है. गवर्नमेंट ने, सेबी ने, आरबीआई ने कुछ किया, ट्रम्प चाइना का कुछ हुआ, पीपल स्टार्ट बिकमिंग अ लिटिल मोर डाइसी की वॉलेटिलिटी बढ़ेगा, एंड दे कैन स्टार्ट बाइंग कॉल सो दैट द वॉलेटिलिटी विल कीप ऑन इंक्रीजिंग. तो बहुत मस्त चीज है ये, बहुत सारी चीजें इससे पता चलती हैं. एक ओपन इंटरेस्ट भी होता है, उसके नंबर्स से भी बहुत सारे हिंट्स पता चलते हैं मार्केट का डायरेक्शन किधर होने वाला है. अगर तुम लोग, इफ यू गाइज लाइक दिस सेशन, प्रोबेबली आई कैन डू अ फॉलो अप सेशन एज ऑप्शन 102 or a T201, whatever it is called, where we can discuss a little more about these nitty-gritty things of like option interest and implied volatility. Let me go back to the option chain again. So I think ये IV clear हो जाना चाहिए. अगर IV historical 32 है और आज 14 चल रहा है, इसका मतलब you should be a little more bullish on the calls and the puts. Volatility के लिए bullish हो सकते हो, होना है नहीं होना है, I don't know कहाँ जाएगा, but you can think about getting to there. तो अभी ये मैंने पांचों पैरामीटर समझा दिए. इफ यू आर कंफर्टेबल विद दिस बिट, आई कैन start explaining or start discussing 3 or 4 strategies with you, which you can take a minimum risk and can think to earn maximum returns. So I'll wait for 10 seconds if there is any question. Otherwise, I'll move on.
Yeah, I have a question. So,
Vipin.
in the last scenario when the implied volatility was less, like 14, compared to the theoretical one of 32.
Yeah.
So, and 14 indicating the current perception of the market. So, what exactly is the 32? Like, what is the deduction we could get from the? Is it like the current thing are overpriced? What are the deduction from 32?
So deduction from the annualized vol, and that was, if you remember, if it is written annualized volatility, correct?
Yeah.
उसके ऊपर एक चीज देखो लिखा है daily volatility. Now daily volatility is 1.72. 1.72 का मतलब ये होता है, पहले हम लोग डेली वॉलेटिलिटी डिस्कस करेंगे, देन वील मूव ऑन टू द एनुअलाइज्ड वॉलेटिलिटी. डेली वॉलेटिलिटी 1.72 का मतलब ये है दैट निफ्टी टुमारो और इन वन डे कैन मूव 1.72% इन एनी डायरेक्शन फ्रॉम द करंट प्राइस हिस्टोरिकली. तो आज अगर 11,050 है तो 11,050 में 1.72% डाउन साइड अपसाइड ले लो. लेट्स अज्यूम 11,000 और 11,100 का रेंज आता है, कुछ भी वैल्यू होगी कैलकुलेशन वाइज. तो निफ्टी का चांसेस लुकिंग एट द हिस्टोरिकल वॉलेटिलिटी इतने जोन में रहने के चांसेस है. नाउ इफ यू मूव दिस डेली वॉलेटिलिटी इनटू एनुअलाइज्ड थिंग, तो वॉलेटिलिटी का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? इट इज अंडर रूट ऑफ सिग्मा स्क्वायर. वो सब नहीं जाते, बट व्हाट यू नीड टू डू व्हेन यू कैलकुलेट एनुअलाइज्ड फ्रॉम डेली, यू नीड टू मल्टीप्लाई डेली बाय अंडर रूट ऑफ 252. 252 क्यों? Because there are approximately 252 trading days in the calendar year. तो हम लोग तो 256 का अंडर रूट 16 होता है, करेक्ट? तो 16 into 1.72 का समवेयर इट विल कम अराउंड आ जाएगा, मतलब 31-30 के अराउंड आता है. तो समवेयर इट विल बी कुछ 250 लेते हैं, एनएसई ने 250 लिया होगा, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन हाउ मेनी ट्रेडिंग डेज एक्चुअली आर देयर, including excluding the trading holidays, Saturdays, Sundays. So 32.90 is calculated like that.
Okay, yeah.
तो इसका मतलब विपिन 32.90 in a sense कुछ नहीं बता रहा है, बट हमें डेली वॉलेटिलिटी देखना चाहिए. बट गिवन आईवी को हम लोग एनुअलाइज्ड फॉर्म में कंपेयर करते हैं, दैट इज व्हाई वी नीड टू कंपेयर आईवी एनुअलाइज्ड बेसिस.